Now, you just come from a trip to Singapore.
Yes.
And you said you get a certificate of the business continuity. So
I took a test, and I did pass with merit. I was one of the high passers of the score.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I still have to fill out some paperwork to become officially certified by the Business Continuity International.
Why Singapore? Doesn't U.S. has the same curriculum here?
We have an organization here called the Disaster Recovery Institute. I have taken their test and passed it back in April. But I wanted to get a peek around the world of this entire evolving standard. And Singapore has a reputation of having very high-tech banking industry. So a lot of banks around the world will invest their beta technology in Singapore as they're very friendly to trying out new technologies. So it was a fantastic trip, and I learned a lot from some very well experienced individuals.
Oh, that's great. I mean, Singapore is such a tiny country, and yet they are very friendly to the bank. And as you said before the show, that Singapore is so small, and they cannot geographically diversify their risk.
That is a big challenge. Yes, the laws there say that these banking records are private to the country. So typically in a disaster recovery plan, you say, well, I want to make sure I have alternate sites that are far enough away to not be affected by the same disaster. In the U.S., we've noticed, well, we have 3 power grids. So we have a power grid east of the Mississippi, west of the Mississippi, and in Texas. Some banks have decided we're going to put a bank here, a bank there, and a bank there. Yeah. Singapore is very small. So if they get affected by whether it's a typhoon or a avian flu, it's likely to hit everybody. So it is a big challenge for them.
Now, you also informed me that you know DOD, the Defense Department, most of them, or maybe all of them, their network equipment are not manufactured in the U.S. That is a big risk.
That's become a major concern because of a particular attack that we discovered in February this year. These digital picture frames, many of them produced in China, contained backdoor rootkits or Trojan horses, a virus, so to speak, that will phone home and report back information. Now, as far as we can see, it's taking video game passwords, but that's as far as we can see. What we also can see is that there's almost no way to get rid of this thing without wiping out your machine. It's not conquered by any of the top 100 virus scanning software. And once your machine's infected, any device you plug in appears to get the infection. So any thumb drive, any camera you plug in. So they're calling this the nuclear bomb of viruses.
Let me get clear. You say there is a digital picture frame.
Yes.
It's a hardware piece of hardware.
Yeah, we see these grandparents like them, right?
Oh, the digital.
Yeah, sure. You plug it in, and then you can play back your.
I see. They can change the picture, keep changing, and they come from China. And you say they can get the game password.
Yeah, that's all we've noticed right now. Wow. But again, we don't know. It's hard to tell. When you have millions of lines of code in something, it's hard to analyze all the code and see what exactly is going on. We can tell that it is going back to China. There was an article that Best Buy is now giving out the gift that keeps giving because they're selling a lot of these at Best Buy or where.
I see, but that's consumer goods.
These are consumer goods.
What about you said it?
Well, then it became a concern. The DOD, some of my students from the DOD said they started looking and said, well, let's see, wow, whenever I plug a device into my machine, I have to allow some software to run the device. So they started looking, what devices do we have that are made in the United States? I don't know of any. So we're very concerned now that our information infrastructure is based on equipment that was not manufactured here, and we don't know really what's going on.
Wow, that's a big open door there. You said any device plug-in can carry a virus and it can infect entire computer and then go back to the network. So is there any remediation so far to counter
firewalls and intrusion detection, intrusion prevention systems? We could try to trace where the when it phones home, try to see where it's going and block that address. But there are ways to relay it around. And again, if it's going to infect my machine, and then I plug in my thumb drive, and my thumb drive gets infected, and then I go home, and then I just infected my home machine, and then I mail my friend a letter, and he's infected. So these things can spread very, very quickly.
Wow. Wow. Can I say that or say this? For any DoD's equipment must be manufactured in the U.S.? I thought it is
I don't know if
supposed
that's
to be the
even
case.
possible. I don't even know that it's possible for electronic equipment, from the processors to the memory to the particle boards themselves. It's just very difficult. I don't know that we manufacture much here. The labor's so much cheaper overseas, whether it's the Philippines or China or Vietnam. We're manufacturing most of our electronics overseas.
Such a big risk. You paint another green picture for us. Well, thank you, Larry. It's very enlightening.
Please tell us what you think about our show and let us know what you want to discuss about China. Are we doing a good job? We appreciate your feedback. Please write to us. You can write to us from anywhere in the world. The email address is comments@diggingtochina.org. Thank you for watching and listening. I'm Dong Xiang. I hope you all join us next time. Remember, by working hard, we can and we will eventually dig to China together.